يك أيا يخستيني اشتكت يوهان كنا الشيش هاتي آدي هاتو يك أيوش إن خاستي يا يجيتا ديخ يجي يا يجي هين تانخ إيقاتا إيقا كياني دس يدو وساق يا دس جن كاد كنسكدو شويا وخي. Good to see you all, everybody. Thank you for coming here. And we feel good to be together with you. Today is Tuesday, April 18th. I almost started to say it was March 18th, but we're advancing into spring. 18 days have passed this month. So we have a fun day lined up. Shakhsani Keek is out this week. She's traveling. And so we're lucky to have a new guest teacher. I'll introduce him. And then we're going to do a little tech demo. I had an unexpected failure of my computer yesterday morning. Went to the store, bought a new computer. And because of that, I still haven't downloaded the Lingit keyboard. So I'll do a demonstration of that because it's a perfect opportunity. I know folks in this class still need to download the keyboard. This class will be recorded. So it just seems like it lines up. And we'll see how long that takes. And then we'll move on, continuing our food theme. Last Friday, Shakhsani Keek demonstrated for us how to make fry bread. We got her secret recipe. And so we'll have a chance to talk about it, about the things we learned. And then we'll continue drafting our show and tell or dialogues that we've been working on. And so before we get started, Austin Tagavan Yuduasag Kagwan Tan City Duckdane Tanya Diowaha Cook Hit Sheet Kwan. This is my friend Nawea. His English name is Austin Tagavan. He's Kagwantan and child of the Duckdane Tan. You'll notice in some of these letters, I wrote KH. That's because I don't have the Lingit keyboard. This is an alternative spelling you can use if you don't have the ability to do an underline K. So Nawea is child of the Duckdane Tan from Kukhit, Shitka, Kwan, that's Sitka. And Nawea, why don't you just say hi to everybody, let them hear your voice and see who you are.
Hello. Pakwasach tu yi chut yi chuf yechet yeti yetsutat. Yeah, good to be with you all today.
Okay.
I'm calling in from Kwan in Juneau. Ma'achlit ku has du ani. Yeah, calling in from Kwan, my grandfather's land. The Wushkitan. Yeah.
Okay. So Nawea and I are friends because we went through this teaching program together. So you're getting to see us step up into our roles as language teachers. And before we jump into this demo, are there any questions from the class so far? I saw one in the chat that said, are we able to download the keyboard on our phone? And yes, you can. It's a different app, but I'll cover that today too.
Hello.
Kade.
Hey, yeah, I'm glad you're going over the keyboard. I normally use my iPhone and I use an app called Chirp.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool Chirp. It's a pretty cool one to use, but I haven't figured out how to download it on my computer yet. So I have the same issue. I can't type on the computer. On the phone, I can type all day long.
Yeah. Okay, goodness teach for your question. So folks who have an iPhone, you can download it. It's an app and it's called Chert, Chert. And then for the computer, it's a separate keyboard download. And we'll go over that. Okay. Any other questions or comments from folks?
Could we go over how to find the resources on the class website? I finally got logged into, but I'm not seeing anything. The
Yeah,
Tree site.
yeah. I'll show that as well. Okay, thank you for asking. So we'll do, let me add it so I remember. So for questions, we'll also cover chart and Tovuti demo. All right, if you have more questions, go ahead and just pop them up as we go. And to get started with the Lingit keyboard installation, I have this outline of notes that my friend made for me. It's her English name is Ann Fuller, and I'm going to add these to our slides so they'll go on that website. And then I'll take you through step by step how we're going to do this on a Mac. I also need to make a PC version of this, but it's a different software and a different process. Okay, so the first thing you want to do for downloading the Lingit keyboard on a Mac is go to clinkitlanguage.com. And for folks who don't have that address, I'll put it in the chat, but it's a pretty easy one. And if you go into clinkitlanguage.com under resources, you'll scroll down to apps and keyboards. So I'll make this a little bigger so it's easier to see. And let me see if I can, since I'm sharing my whole screen, I don't want it to be too small. Oops. Okay. Anyway, so we're in apps and keyboards. On a PC, you'll keep scrolling down to Windows, but since we're doing a Mac today, we're going to install the Crippen Lingit keyboard. And there are instructions here, and I'll refer to these, and then there's just a few extra steps along the way that we'll show you. So click your Crippen Lingit keyboard, and this window will pop up. It's a zip file. Without opening or clicking anything, just go up into your upper right-hand screen on your web browser, and there will be an option for download. It looks like this downward arrow over a bracket. Click it, and that'll download the zip file to your computer. My downloads are visible at the bottom of my web browser here. So this is what I'm going to open. Okay. So you can see it's in this folder called keyboards. And now I'm going to go back to my instructions. So place the files in a Macintosh HD library keyboard layouts. This is where it gets a little bit tricky, and Nawaya and I reviewed this before class. So what we do is we need to access our Macintosh HD library. So this is a little bit secretive. On a Mac, to get there, you have to open your Finder. And then if you go up into your menu bar, there you'll see Finder, File, Edit, View, Go. Open the Go menu, and you can't see library in the Go menu at this point. To see it, you have to hold down the Command button. So when I hold down Command key, this option for library shows up. And so I'm going to click that. And what I want to do is place the file I downloaded into my keyboard layouts file in my library. So I'm going to scroll down until I get to keyboard layouts. Right here, I'm going to open this, and I'm going to take my keyboard into it. So let me find it here. Downloads. Place the files into it. So I'm going to drag this keyboards file into my keyboard layouts folder in my library. And I'm going to open it and just make sure that it's there. So to double check that it's the file you wanted, you should see your Lingit key layout and your icon and everything. So go back to your file and keyboard layouts. Okay, next step in my instructions is open system preferences and then open keyboard. So on a Mac, I'm going to open my system preferences. It looks like this turning gears icon. And I want to open keyboard. So I'm selecting keyboard. And then you select the input sources tab and press the plus sign. So looking at keyboard and my system preferences, I found the input sources tab here. I'm selecting it and I'm pressing the plus sign. Now, in my directions, it says in the others category, you should see the Lingit keyboard as an option. So this is my list of options of keyboards to add. I'm going to scroll all the way down to others. And it's all the way at the bottom. If I select others, you should see the Lingit keyboard as an option. Hang on. Let me make sure I did this right. Keyboards. Let me see. Okay, let me see. One moment. Shortcuts, input sources. Wonder if I need to put, oh, I know, I bet I need to put this in there. One second, let me see if this works. I'm gonna copy just the keyboard into my layouts. This is where this is where it gets a little sloppy. One sec. Let me see if this works. Okay. So I'm gonna close that, open Finder again, and go to the library again. Option. Should be in there. And try this again.
You have to click the plus button.
Oh yeah, plus. Okay. Under others. Oh, okay. So okay, I might have just needed to close it. One thing I did to make sure it was in there is I opened up the folder keyboards and drug Lingit key layout into it. Now it's showing up twice. I'm gonna select the top one. Okay, so I pushed the plus sign. I just went to others. Now I see an option for Lingit. I'm highlighting it and I'm gonna push add. And then that looks like it's in my input sources now. So I think if I go to my menu bar up here in the upper right where it says US, that's my keyboard that's selected. Here we go. Okay, so I selected the US under my keyboards in the menu bar. It's in your upper right of your Mac. And select Lingit. And so let's see if it worked. So now I'm going to go into my text where I spelled something with this KH where I wanted an underline K. Let me see if it'll work. I'm going to push Option K. Boom! It worked. Okay. Gonna teach. So now I can do underline Ks. High tones are going to be a lot easier. Underline any kind of underline letters. And so just to give you a quick demo of how to use the Lingit keyboard, if you go into your keyboard icon in the menu bar and you have Lingit selected, you can show hover over show keyboard viewer, or just select that, and it'll show you a little dialog box of how your keyboard looks. And then this right here for Mac users is your option key. If you click it, it shows you what the keys turn to when you hold down the option key. So anytime I'm typing in Lingit on my Mac, I'm holding down option and pushing the letter I want. For vowels, that will give me high tone. So you can see the E with option turns the high tone E. The A with option key turns the high tone A. And then anything that's a consonant will turn into an underlined consonant. So you can see the X. If I hold down option and push X, it gives me underline X. Same thing with K. And yeah, that's how you install the Lingit keyboard on your Mac. Are there any questions about that process for Mac users or anybody?
Sorry, can you repeat how you brought up the little image of the keyboard?
Yeah. So to look at the image of the keyboard, you can see my mouse up here on my menu bar, and it's in the upper right hand screen, and I'm selecting my keyboard. And if I have Lingit selected, then when I go to show keyboard viewer, it'll open it up for me. And this is
Okay.
where I can look at the layout. Yeah.
Got it. Sheesh.
Any other questions or comments? Okay.
I have noticed if you have it installed on a PC, it's kind of annoying in that it always takes you back to English and you have to go back and reselect. So just be aware of that. It'll be down on the bottom right on a PC.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh.
Every time I log out and log in again, it changes the keyboard on me.
Oh, what a bummer. I wonder if there's a way around that. We will do a PC version of this. Maybe I'll collaborate with you or someone, do a demo for PC too, for how to install it on Windows. Okay. All right. Any more questions or comments before we do the Tovuti demonstration?
Actually, I just found there's a place to override the default keyboard.
Okay.
So I just switched that and hopefully I won't have that problem no more.
Okay, good. I am constantly changing my default settings in my computer to be more accommodating to me typing in Lingit. So things like grammar check, spell check. If you don't want squiggly underlines to appear under all your words, you got to take off the spell check.
Actually, can you show how to stop spell check in say Word?
Yeah. So I don't know if I can do it in Word. I could do it in Google Docs because that's what I use. Does anyone else here use Word and take off spell check?
I could show you in Pages or Keynote. I use a Mac though, so.
Oh yeah. Do you want to do a quick demonstration of that if you share your screen?
Sure. Let me find something real quick.
Okay, cool. While you're doing that, I'll find the Tovuti link. Since I'm on a new computer, I need to find the link again.
I put the link in the chat.
Awesome.
Okay, let's see. I'll just use this as like an example here. We could say, well, I don't know what. So we could say something like this sheet. I wonder if it'll turn red on me. Oh well, maybe it won't turn red on me. Oh, but I need to share more than just this. Let's see. Because I need to show you the. Oh, yeah, someone's got their hand raised.
Shaquin.
Actually, it's about how to get the spell check off of Microsoft Word. I just looked at it real quick and figured it out.
Oh yeah, okay. You want to share?
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna do a share screen because I've got it pulled up right now.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so on Microsoft Word, up at the top, you've got these different options: file, home, insert, draw, go over to review, which is what I'm on right now. Under language here, select that, and then you can choose set proofing language. And then here you can say, do not check spelling or grammar. And that should get it to stop doing the red squiggle under all of our Lingit words.
Okay.
Well, maybe after, maybe if you start off the document with that.
Oh, cool. I love your notes too. You've been taking good notes, haven't you?
I started it off really good. Oh, yeah. So see, if you need to do it after the fact, just highlight everything, and then you can tell it to turn off the do not check spelling and grammar.
Okay.
And then it goes away.
Awesome. Okay, so you're on a PC, yeah, Shaquin?
Yes.
Okay. No way, do you have your pages set up? You're
Okay.
muted.
Oh, all right. Let's see here. So, I'm gonna move this little bar thing out. Okay, so you can see the whole screen, right?
Yeah, we can see your
Okay.
whole desktop, yeah.
Okay, so here is how you do this in Pages. You it's not doing it for me anymore right now. Maybe my computer's too used to the Lingit, huh? Maybe it'll do it if I go. I don't know. There we go. Um, so to get rid of that stuff, you'll open up this and you'll go to edit, and down here in this spot it says spelling and grammar, and you just have to uncheck all of these things
Okay.
to get it to stop. And then now it should just let me.
Yay. Goodness, geez. Okay. Well, I found the Tovuti site, which is another one of our questions from students. But before we transition to that, are there any more questions on tech type stuff amongst you guys? Alrighty. Well, if not, I'll take you to Tovuti, which is our online learning platform. So when you registered for this class, you were set up with an account for Tovuti. If Tavuti is not a Tlingit word. It's just the name of the software that we're using to be able to communicate with each other. This is where I upload all of our class slides. You can access our class recordings on this page. Any links we use in class, I upload them here. But to access it, you're going to log in. And my password's wrong. 1 second, please. So here we are. The community feed when you first open Tavuti looks like this. And so there's a few different things you can look at. If you go to dashboard, that's where I am now. I can see my community feed where everybody's adding each other as friends, which is fun. You can post on this page similar to a social media platform. People are uploading videos. It just creates a sense of community for us. And you can also add friends in this cluster of people. I have no friends. I have no friend requests right now. If you have you can check messages, you can see any notifications you get. And then to go to our class information, you go to my learning dashboard. It's here on the left. It looks like this little menu. And you can scroll down to our language class. It should show up in your courses on the right here. Ours is called Lingit Class Fall Course. We didn't switch the name of this course from fall to spring because we wanted continuity for the students. So it says fall course, but this is where you're going to find our spring courses as well. So select this arrow. And here we have our class schedules. And what we did was title all these. So week 1, day 1 was back in October. If you scroll all the way down to, you'll start seeing where I typed spring in all caps. That's where we start our spring classes. The latest one I uploaded was week 13, day 3. So if you select it, you can see the date. That was April 7th. And this is our Zoom class link. If you lose it or it's not in your calendar, you can select it here to join class. All of the lesson slides are down here. So if you scroll down to slides, I've uploaded a PDF version of our slides from that day. On April 7th, we had guest speaker Zeus, and you can see all the slides we went through in class. And then these were the slides that I made. If you want to see Zeus slides, you scroll down, and he shared this with us as well. This was the most comprehensive presentation I've ever seen on the dialects in Tlingit. And so this is just, to me, it's such a huge gift that he shared his slides with us. And then if you keep scrolling down, I also uploaded the audio files which he shared as to highlight the sounds of some of the different ways Tlingit is spoken in different places. And so these correlate with slides in his presentation. So I just want to share this with you while we're here. So in his presentation, if you keep going down to his examples, there's a lot in here about language variation, but if you go to the dialects, some of his slides have a sound icon showing that there's like this, for example, in his presentation, you could click it and listen to Emma Williams. Since this is a PDF, he shared it separately, so you would go down to this and listen to Emma Williams here. And so that was week 13, day 3. And we put our links here that we generally use for class, the dictionary, phrase book, some of the comic strips we worked on, videos we watched lately. And I think that's mostly what I would share. Did you all have any more comments or questions on Tovuti, our online learning platform.
No, but that was a pretty cool presentation that we got. Henry Denny was also my mom's grandfather.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, you've had a lot of family connections with people that were good speakers that have been shared about in our class. Okay, a lot to be proud of. Okay, we all feeling good? We just did a lot of tech stuff and look at us smiling, doing good. Like things are going well. There's no more tech questions. We can move on. So some of the other stuff I wanted to talk about today were the demonstration Shaksani Kik shared Hawakshi Saknin Shakudzi Yaosane. She made fry bread in front of us. Oh, Saknin Kaduzi, I think she calls it. And so she asked us to talk about after she finished it for today. She wanted us to talk about what we learned from Friday about making bread, cooking and making native food, how we cooked it, what we learned and didn't know, things like that. Examples of things we learned how to cook for the first time. Did her demonstration bring up any stories for you? She wants us to share about native foods today. So if her demonstration shared anything, if I saw in my email somebody might have tried the recipe. I just want to open up space to hear your voices and let you share.
If you're in Juneau, it's Fry Bread Tuesday.
Ooh.
So run on down to the Morant. You have until another 55 minutes.
Is that every Tuesday in Juneau?
Unfortunately, today is the last one they're doing.
No. Okay. Where is it at?
At the cafeteria. You know, it's the Wuchian group.
Oh, okay. Oh, at the NRSC and UAS.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna make fry bread this afternoon. I'm gonna use her recipe.
And it was really helpful because I missed Friday's class, so I wound up watching it this morning.
Oh, cool.
And was able to finish that by running next door and grabbing some fry bread, which helped greatly.
Did you make a half batch like she did, or did you go full 8 cups?
Oh no, they made it. I just bought it and ate it.
Awesome. Hey, everybody has their part. While she was demonstrating, I took notes and put them on our slides. And so while y'all are thinking of what you want to share, I'll just put that in the chat so you have access to it. But go ahead and share other stories. Anyone else try making fry bread?
Yeah, I tried the recipe. It turned out really good.
Okay.
She makes fry bread almost exactly like my mom, which I thought was really interesting because my mom was Omaha and she grew up on her reservations. I thought it was interesting that, you know, they're from totally different tribes and regions and areas, and yet they had a similar recipe.
Whoa, that's awesome. Where does the Omaha tribe live? Where's their land?
Omaha, they're Plains Indians from Nebraska, Macy, Nebraska.
Okay. Thanks for sharing with us. So I put the link in the chat to these slides, and If folks want to edit, like if you write recipes a certain way, you can edit these slides, but to do that, you'll just make a copy. So just go file, make a copy, entire presentation, and then you'll have your own editable version of these slides. I saw in the chat a comment. It reminded me of making bannock with my great grandma. I loved watching her make fry bread, and I'm excited to try it her way. I feel so grateful we have an elder to learn from. Me too. Any other comments or questions about any of this? I'm gonna probably try it after class. I want to make tacos tonight, so I might do fry bread.
I put this in the chat last week, but that same recipe can also be used for yeast biscuits and cinnamon rolls.
Oh, cool. What are yeast biscuits?
So instead of frying, you know how when she was rolling it into the balls, so you would roll it into the balls, butter them, and throw them in a baking pan.
Okay.
Of course, you let it rise and then throw it in the oven until they're brown. Well, at least until the middle is cooked. So if you don't want to do a fried version, you can do a baked version.
Okay. Do you know what temperature you bake them at?
I believe it's 375.
All right. Okay. Cool. Anybody else wanted to share things they learned, things that reminded them of? Something we're going to work on this week, and your opportunity isn't over. If you're like, wait, I had a story I wanted to share, you still can just unmute your mic and share. But review. So one thing we'll be working on this week is the show and tell activity I demonstrated last week, using Lingit Class. So we want you to focus on using this resource. It's our phrase book, because everything is already conjugated correctly and put together for its context. And just a reminder for sharing your show and tell when you get to that point where you made your own and you want to share. We just wanted to remind you, don't make it too big in your head. It doesn't need to be perfect just to start. Many times when you go to do something, it might not work out the way you wanted it to, and that's totally fine. When I started class today, I didn't know how my tech demo was going to go, but I did it anyway because I knew it was going to help me and you in some way, even if I didn't reach my goal. We're here to help you. If no one's ready, I can always make one with you in class. And I'll put this link in the chat again for people that need access to the PDF version of Lingit Class. This in the chat. This way, if you feel inspired, you can start working on yours. But to go over the one we made together, the process I like to use is starting with a template for my notes. When you open Lingit Class, you're going to see a PDF version. You'll probably have to type it into your notes when you select your phrases you want to use. But if you go to chapter 9, it's about cooking, eating, and talking about food. And just scroll through I ended up with 6 lines in this, but my goal is just like 2 or 3. That's all you have to have. The only reason I even added more was because as we worked together as a group, we found more that applied, and I wanted to include them. So mine were just Ach idea ya nahin. Khat achit uaha. Khataya kachas I. Gat lachjite. And khat shawahik. And when I go to do my demonstrate or my show and tell presentation, I just picked 4. So, and I added a picture. It's lunchtime. I'm getting hungry. I just pulled these images from Google. You can add your own photos. You can do anything you want. And the last one, and then I added a slide for consultation notes because when we talked about the word qatl and looked it up to find that it means crackers or sailor boy crackers, it reminded Shakhsani Keek of hearing her aunties say sailor boy qatl for sailor boy crackers. It's something she remembered. The discussion made her recall that, so we took a note here. It's always good to do that when you're working with a speaker because you just never know what it's going to remind them of. So it's good to have notes ready. And questions we came up with were, how would you say sandwich? That's something we can do together as a class. Our student started from a place of saknenik, between bread. I need to spell check that word. And Chaksani Keek offered, okay, you might need a little bit more descriptive words to add to it, but we could do a demonstration on how to put new words together. If anyone wants to work on that, new words are always welcome. Something she remembered was people saying sandwich for sandwich. And then examples of photographs. One of our students wants to do one on making a breakfast sandwich. And so these are things you can do in your life if you're doing something fun that takes steps like cooking. You can take photos of each step and make a little demonstration, practice talking about it in Lingit. And then the last thing I'll share before we hop into ours was just this review. My lunchtime demonstration made people want to know how to talk about it's time for coffee. And these were some of the words we came up with as a class. And then add pictures. So this is where we're at now. Are there any questions or comments before we go to make another show and tell? Any topics of interest? Did anyone get photos that you wanted to add?
Yes, while we're talking about food, one thing I haven't been able to figure out is cockles. I'm trying it a couple different recipes and it didn't turn out good at all.
Okay.
Yeah, just try to throw that one out there. Always getting food sent down from Sitka. I pretty much cook anything, but I don't know, for some reason that's my my downfall, I guess.
All right. Mine is cookies. Like we all have our bane for cooking and baking. I'm not great at making cookies. Who here is a taco expert that wants to help Aye make tacos or share how to make tacos?
Did he say tacos or cockles?
No, I said cockles.
Oh. Sorry. Okay. Hey, it's Taco Tuesday. I wasn't totally out of left field. Okay, how to make cockles. All right. Who's got some steps for us?
Well, Ayesh, I have a question. Are you Deshitan?
No, I'm a Kashadi.
Oh, just curious. My grandmother's father had the similar name Ayesh. When we cooked cockles, we normally just cooked it in water and steamed it. It's the only way I ever had it.
The Tlingit name is Yathuthate.
Is it high tone? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay, let me check. So when we spell check words, we go in the dictionary and type in. Okay, it's type it in. So we have Yathuthate cockle. So we're gonna add this to our notes. Okay, Yathuthate. This could turn into a. So let's look in Lingit Class and see if we find anything for steaming. So I'm just taking you through my process as I want to turn this into a language activity. How do I do that? So we started with the dictionary for cockles, Yathuthate. Now I'm going to go into Lingit Class and open it up. I'm just going to look and see if there's anything in here for cockles. And you guys can look through these too and let me know if you find it before me. So I'm looking through all the different types of foods, salmon, dried fish. Here's some words we're going to use when we describe how to cook them. So I'm going to zoom in. And we're going to start turning this into our list. And zoom in. So we are going to steam them. And so we want to, first thing to do is heat up a pot of water. So I'm going to start copying these phrases over to our slide. So I'm going to do a slide for notes. And this is going to be steaming cockles or Yathuthate. We'll do our notes here. So I'm going to copy my template for making notes and just do it like, oops. Command C, Command V. And I'm going to start fresh. So to do Yathuthate cockle. Oops, not bold. And so now that we have this question, we have this point of curiosity, we're going to learn how to steam cockles, but we're also going to learn how to talk about doing it. So I see in the chat, someone loves them smoked and jarred, steam them and eat them with seal grease or butter. Okay, so those are other words we're going to add as well. So the first phrase I found that's related is I'm hungry for cockles. If we want to do that, we would copy this one. So we would replace got with Yathuthate. So Yathuthate achideya nahin. So I'm going to put that in here. Achideya nahin. I'm hungry for cockles. Let me make sure I spell that correctly. Or I could say got, or I could say Yathuthate achit uaha. I'm hungry for cockles. Achit uaha. Achit uaha. I'm hungry for cockles. And our last few minutes, we're going to start looking for, so what other lines in Lingit Class in this chapter relate to steaming cockles? Maybe this one. We So we Are there any guesses in this line for what any of these parts mean? If I'm not sure, how can I start looking up words?
Well, I believe sa'in refers to maybe a liquid.
Oh yeah. Yeah, what made you think about that?
Well, we were discussing it the last class, and I'm a little bit familiar with some of the material. Katsa inwe kahwe achguchais. Well, like it was my cup of coffee, but Shani Keek mentioned it that when we're talking about liquids and solids, it's different, and she had mentioned example during the last class about putting liquid into a container or something like that.
Yeah, good memory. Gunath Cheesh. Where is it?
Yeah, there's a bunch of handling verbs in Lingit, and that's like one for something with liquid in it. The in.
Yeah, okay, good memory and good recognition. That's going to be really helpful for you to keep using that ability to recognize. So what Kadekak noticed was that this Sa'in might have something to do with liquids, because he recalled in Chaksani Keek's in our demonstration last week that she shared this phrase, hand me the coffee, and she told us that has to do with spillable liquids, this handling verb, like Nawea mentioned, sa'in. Okay. All right, folks. We're closing up class, so I'm just gonna put this, but as we do that, are there any more closing comments or questions? Okay. And so that one means put the pot on the fire. Okay, Ayeth, this is going to be our next show and tell we'll work on together as a group. For everybody else, or including if you're doing Yatrusheit, start looking for pictures that you want to add. So if you're taking photos while you cook dinner tonight or whatever you cook, start putting those together. You can email them to me and we'll continue this discussion. On Thursday, we'll continue. On Thursday, we're gonna continue working on our show and tell. We'll probably do it as a large group. Any other questions or comments? What kind of topics are you guys thinking of that might be a fun show and tell for you? Or a dialogue? Shauqeen.
I have a question. It's about kinship, because I learned how to do fry bread from my cousin, and the next topic right after food and Lingit Hinaqsa is kinship, but I don't see cousin.
Oh yeah.
So I was wondering, how do we refer to our cousins?
Nawea,
It depends on their moiety. And whether they're like older or younger than you, and also their gender. So like I'll use the example of my family. So all of my cousins on my mom's side, that are, well, yeah, it depends on their moiety again. So like my aunts, my maternal auntie's children, they are my siblings. Does that make sense? In Tlingit, Tundatani, you would call them. Like I have some cousins who are my maternal aunt's sons, I would call them, depending on their age, a hun or a teak. So like if they're older than you refer to them as your older brother, or if they're younger than you refer to them as your younger brother. Um, yeah, see, that's the page right there.
Yeah.
And then if they're your opposites, if they're for me, I'm Kagwantan, so I'm eagle. So if they're ravens, then you would refer to them. I think it's probably just like um, you would probably call them achkani. Like there's not probably like a specific word for that relationship. I think, which achkani is more like my opposite. Um, yeah, because it would be like. Yeah, note on in-laws. Yeah. Well, I think that, and there's a really great poster of Lingit kinship that uh Une has on his website. So if you go to his website and go to, it's in resources and then posters maybe, and then like at the very, very bottom, and he might have, there's a good depiction of it at the very bottom, I think.
Yeah, that's cool because sometimes I try to look through the videos to find some of those slides, man. Now I know where they're at. Thank you.
Okay. I'll put this link in the chat too. That's a really good question. And Gunchish for sharing Nawea. So as Nawea shared, if you go to clinkitlanguage.com under resources and posters and scroll to the very bottom, you can find this chart that illustrates different relationships in the kinship terms. Yeah, okay. So that might be a topic for you, Jacqueline, if you want to do your family in your show and tell. That would be really cool. Okay, Johan, we're at the end. And Gunnar Chish, Takat Johan, Yejane, Hatu Klika Yika Konach. Thanks for your work. We're proud of you. Nawea will be busy on Thursday, but he'll be back here with us on Friday, and we have another fun activity lined up for you then. So until Thursday, Tsuye Kwasatin Johan Gunnar Chish.